And it was at that very moment I realized that tip had just saved me from so much pain. Remember, you cannot do this alone. At some point, you'll need the advice. Those 3 items have paid for themselves over and over and over again, and I cannot recommend them enough. So this is not the video that I had planned to make at all this week. At least not in this way. I plan to do more of a YouTube-esque challenge video that was meant to test a Scout Shop product that maybe you as an adult leader have actually been looking at.
I'm listening.
That's because this weekend I ran the 1775K race in Prince William Forest Park. This 11-mile race is put on by the Marine Corps Marathon Organization and is the kickoff to their year-long race series. See, I thought to myself, hey, I just bought this brand new scouting performance shirt, and what better way to test it than to run 11 miles through a national park?
Which to me seems excessive.
It would be testing the uniform to an extreme because this event is notorious for rain. And doing the race in uniform may generate some attention to the scouting movement or maybe this channel.
Hey everyone! Come and see how good I look!
But as the date drew near, I sat down with a coworker who was running a half marathon with me the week prior to the 1775K. And since it was his first ever half marathon, I wanted to provide some advice to him.
A lot of running, a lot of pain.
And in case you were wondering, yes, I did run the half marathon and then the next week ran the 1775K because I love doing these races and I highly recommend them to others.
No one likes to show off.
Okay, weird flex, Matt, but what does that have to do with scouting? And fair enough, I'm getting to that. The advice that I gave to my coworker could benefit not only new long-distance runners, but new scouting leaders as well, including the whole when to trim your toenails thing.
Just trimming my toenails. They grow quite rapidly.
But have you ever had someone who gave you some advice and then turn around and didn't follow that very advice that they just gave you?
You'll do as I say, not as I do.
I was kind of falling into that trap and needed that conversation to happen because I was about to violate one of the cardinal rules of running, and that is nothing new on race day. No new t-shirts, no new food or drink, and no new shoes. Pay attention to that one because that's going to be important here in a minute.
Noted.
You see, you don't know how your body is going to react to any of these new items on race day. Everything on your body and going into your body should have been used before to ensure that it works properly.
My body is a temple.
Your new t-shirt or shorts may rub you the wrong way, leaving you with bloody patches or sores. New food or drink can cause stomach pain and may cause an unintended stanky leg if you can't make it to the bathroom in time. And new shoes can leave you all sorts of messed up. For this video, I plan to wear a new shirt, new shorts, and a brand new pair of Hoka trail shoes.
New shoes!
I bought this new pair of trail shoes due to the rain and mud during last year's race, but thankfully I had that conversation with a coworker and realized that I had not ran once in those shoes, and that could be a big problem. So the morning of the race, I decided not to wear those brand new tennis shoes.
You have chosen wisely.
But after about 2 miles, we emerged from the trail onto the park's scenic highway. And it was at that very moment I realized that tip had just saved me from so much pain. Because I don't remember running on the road that much last year, but it may have been that I was so miserable due to the rain and near hypothermia that I simply forgot. I want to take a minute to capture how wet and miserable it is out here. Because I don't think anybody's going to believe me. But another one in the books. Running nearly 8 miles on asphalt in new trail shoes could have been extremely painful. A runner or a scout should never try anything new on the day of an event. Let me give you an example of how this could apply in scouting. You are out on the trail and your troop has just hiked 6 miles into camp. Everyone is hungry and ready to start cooking dinner. And that's when little Timmy breaks out the new portable camp stove, still in the box.
Oh no.
That, as a scout leader, should make you groan. Because you don't actually know if that stove is going to work or not. There's a good chance that it may, as long as the fuel that you brought is the appropriate one and it can actually attach to the stove. You, as a scouting leader, should ensure that everything brought to camp has been tested and that your scouts have the knowledge of how to use it. Or there's the potential that you'll be eating beef jerky for dinner.
Love jerky.
That rolls into the next piece of advice, which is you should always practice and train both in running and in scouting. In running, your first time running a half marathon should not be your first time running in over 10 years. In scouting, your first time putting up a tent should not be at a campsite in the dark. It should be in a well-lit area where you can practice over and over and over again. That way, when you're tired and hungry and somebody brought a stove that doesn't work, you know what needs to be done.
Love jerky.
For example, my Cub Scout unit is preparing for their first camp out of the year, and the majority of the unit has not pitched the tent since last October. So what do you think that I'm going to do over the course of the next month to prepare for the camp out?
Disney World?
If you said site selection and camp setup, you are correct. I fully expect that my Weeblos are going to be a little bit rusty, and the other members of my unit may be setting up a tent for the first time. But that's perfectly okay because that is where we can practice and, if need be, get a little help. Which brings us to our next piece of advice: seek help along the way. Scouting and running is a journey with different goals at different points in our lives. At some point, you are going to need to seek the advice from someone who has been where you want to go or done what you want to do. In Cub Scouts, your scouts rely on you and their parents to pretty much do everything. In Scouts BSA, scouts are expected to seek out the advice and guidance from members of their patrol and their units. And one of my favorite questions as a Scoutmaster is, have you asked your SPL yet?
Never heard of them.
As adult leaders, you are expected to seek the advice and guidance from others to help in your scouting journey and in life. Remember, you cannot do this alone. At some point, you'll need the advice of someone who has started a unit, someone who's been to Philmont, and someone who has completed Wood Badge. Oh, I guess we're not going back together. Sorry, I had to do that because we're supposed to be having fun when we do this sort of stuff. And if you're not having fun, you need to seek the advice of those who are, even if that advice is through a screen of your favorite scouting YouTubers. If you like what we're doing here, please do all that great YouTube stuff down below, but the best thing that you can do is to share these videos with your scouting friends. Help us grow this channel so we can go to all those cool places and bring you the best advice possible. And sticking with that piece of advice, I too seek out the knowledge and guidance of others. If you'd like to ask questions live on air, please join us at the Campfire Chat over on Scouter Stan's channel. This live event is hosted on the first Sunday of every month at 9 Eastern. And if you happen to know someone at the Scouting America National Office, send them this video and maybe they'll sponsor a live Campfire Chat during the National Jamboree in 2026. I mean, hey, a guy can dream, right? But we got to keep rolling along, which brings us to our next piece of advice: expect the ups and downs. In running, it is inevitable that you will come across some steep hills. These hills are going to slow you down and strain your muscles, but they are necessary for growth, because with every uphill, there is a downhill. For every challenge, there is a lesson learned. In scouting, this is when you just can't seem to get those knots right, can't seem to get any adult volunteers, or maybe only 30% of your viewers are subscribed. Whatever your hill is, just know that it's okay to walk when needed and attack the hill when you feel that burst of energy. This may also be that moment when you feel like you're standing still and other people are just flying past you. In Scouts, as it is in running, it's going to appear that other people are blazing past you at different points in your journey. You just completed your first ever camp out and someone is signing up for Wood Badge. You finish your Wood Badge ticket and someone is already out at the Philmont Training Center taking one of their amazing courses. You may also feel more, demotivated, I guess is the word, if you and that person started out together, or maybe they even started out after you.
No! He's leapt past me once again!
I'm here to tell you that this is completely normal. There has been plenty of times in the last 10 years where I felt like I was standing still, on the race course, in my career, and on the scouting trail. And I have to remind myself that I am moving at the speed that is necessary for me. But the final piece of advice to bring this all together is to use the proper equipment. At the start of this video, I said that I almost didn't follow my own advice and went out on the race course before my shoes were ready. They were not ready and the right piece of equipment at that time for that job. But I did end up grabbing the correct ones, and that was the correct decision. Thankfully, I already have a bunch of gear that I've tested and was able to go out on the race course and completely crush my goal of under 2 hours. My favorite pieces of equipment are my hydration vest, my Gooder sunglasses, and my Sprint car seat towel. I don't know why that's so hard for me to say, but it is. I'm not sponsored by any of these brands, but I really do enjoy using them. Those 3 items have paid for themselves over and over and over again, and I cannot recommend them enough. I've placed the affiliate links down below in the description for your guys' convenience. Now, I don't want to make this video unnecessarily long, but if you are interested in the gear that I'm talking about, check out this video here, hopefully in the future. But with that, I've been Matt with the Roaming Scouter, and I'll see you out there.